All right. Hi, everybody. Happy Monday evening to you. This is Kevin with the Royal We, and we are about to go live on this Monday night. I'm just now getting started here, so I'm going to play the music and allow just for a couple of seconds here for some people to sign on. Monday Night Live is the Royal We Live. This is the question and answer segment every Monday night where we talk about your questions coming from email, coming from your telephone calls. We will go live with telephone calls in just a second here. So any questions that you have regarding narcissistic abuse, how to heal, how to go no contact, and the best way to move forward and rebuild your life, this is the platform for that. This is the live platform for that. So let's go ahead and say hi to some people coming in, then we'll go ahead and get started. We're going to go straight to the questions tonight. I just feel led to make this less about a topic and instruction and more about getting straight to the point, straight to your questions, because there is a lot of them. I get questions all the time through phone calls, texts, emails. And so it just makes sense, since this is a live platform that is for you, supported by you, it makes so much sense to just answer your question and not to talk about a topic that I could just otherwise do on the organic channel. So let me say hi to some people. How are you? Free to be, Mookie B, Tanya, moderators are in the house. How are you doing? Monique, how are you? Free to be me. It's good to see you. It's good to see you all there. And I'm going to go ahead and get started and get right into the questions. And so let's go ahead and get started with the basics of the Royal We Live. First of all, the Royal We is brought to you by the support of the Patreon members. Thank you so much for those of you who are supporting through Patreon. I realize that Patreon is a whole separate platform that has its own thing going on. However, it's the easiest way right now to be a supporter of the Royal We Live, of this particular community, and that's really the purpose of it. And so I will maybe add more stuff. I'm trying to get to that, but it's a whole nother platform. But thank you to those of you who are supporting through Patreon for this live stream. Greatly appreciate it. And let's go ahead and introduce the moderators that you will see tonight. Taylor, thank you so much, Taylor. She puts the dream in the dream team. Baloo is here to link you up. Tanya gives the best virtual hugs on the internet. And D-Doll is the queen of the one-liners. So be sure to give a lot of love to the moderators, because they are here to help you out. And what an amazing, fantastic job they do. Be sure to ask them about the Facebook group, where they also post updates and links and all kinds of helpful tips for you to help you out through your healing process of narcissistic abuse. And also, I'll go ahead and put the phone number up there for those of you who don't know. The Royal We Live is all about taking your phone calls. So if you would like to call in tonight, please don't hesitate to call in live. This is your opportunity to be able to speak up with people who understand what it is that you're going through, and we are here for you. Telephone number is scrolling across the screen right now, so jot that down. You'll also see that posted throughout the night by one of the moderators. But be sure to definitely jot that down, and let's go ahead and get started. We're going to jump right into the questions, like I said, because I want to make this all about what it is that you guys are dealing with, what you guys and girls, guys and gals. I got to make sure I do that. I have actually been called out on my YouTube videos because I had a habit of saying, you guys, and I've had people say, listen, we're not guys. And I'm like, I get it. That's just that's a Kevin quirky thing. You know, that and misspelling words. You'll catch that I misspell words, which is very unprofessional. I get that. Sometimes I'm just creatively, banging stuff out and I'll let something slip, misspelled. And I know that there are people who have that as a pet peeve. And so for that, I humbly ask for your grace in that department. Now, let's go ahead and get started with some of the questions that you all have sent in. I'm going to get started with a question from Slovakia. This is from a different place, different time. Good afternoon. The question begins. I would like to ask you something that is what is confusing for me. I cannot handle it. My narcissistic ex-boyfriend has left me some weeks ago for the fourth time. This is the fourth time that this narcissistic ex-boyfriend has left. We were together for almost 4 years. So 4 times in 4 years, that's about once a year, this relationship is breaking up and the guy is leaving. Typical of narcissists, okay? Um, she says, I asked him why he's doing this again. And she says, I know I shouldn't even ask. But he told me that he has no feelings. Absolutely none. Not towards me, none at all. No love, no hate, no joy, nothing. Typical narcissism. And that he can think exclusively and only for himself, and he's not able to function in a relationship. He started to cut his hands with a knife, so it sounds like this is a very depressed, and this is typical. This is something that narcissists can do. There are narcissists that start to threaten to hurt themselves or even start to hurt themselves when they think that things are being turned against them. They're being found out. Very, very scary, very sad. He treated me like crap till the end. He always did when he was about to be leaving, but now he is really cold-blooded. What do you think about it? Won't he need supply? Is this possible? Will he hoover me? Should I cut off all ties? Could it be just another lie? Or can he be really totally without emotions? Thank you for your answer. And again, this comes from Slovakia. So my answer to this question coming from Slovakia is this. First of all, let me start with some of the basics ones. Should you cut off all ties? Will he hoover you? Could it be another lie? Blah, blah, blah. What do I think about that? First of all, I'm gonna tackle that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if he's serious about it this time. It doesn't matter if this person needs supply or not. It doesn't matter if this person is going to try to hoover you or not. All that matters is that in a 4-year time, this has happened 4 times. Basically, once a year on an average, he will leave and come back. That's all that matters. Because from that, you can draw the conclusion that this is exactly what you're dealing with and what will keep happening as long as you allow it to happen. So it doesn't matter if I think he's going to hoover. That's the pattern of the relationship. The person's probably going to hoover. If in 4 years he's done this 4 times, then chances are he's going to do it again. Because this is the established relationship that you took apart in helping to establish. And what do I mean by that? I'm not trying to be harsh on you, meaning the person who wrote this, but I am saying that you allow him to go and then come back in, right? You actually can't control him or somebody leaving you, but you can control them coming back into your life. And so the moment you let them back into your life, now it becomes you opening the door and you allowing it. That's all that matters. So it doesn't matter if we think that this person could potentially do it again or hoover again or this and that. All that matters is that that's the history, that's what's going on, and it's going to keep happening as long as you allow it to. Now, as far as him telling you that he has no feelings, absolutely none towards you, none at all, no love, no hate, no joy, nothing. Right there, if he tells you that, he might as well be telling you, and this is how, listen, he's being honest with you, all right? And this is what's really hard. I understand that about narcissists, but a lot of people will tell you that narcissists, whoops, I hit my camera there. Narcissists will tell you who and what they are. They will tell you the truth. They will tell you if you would just listen to them. They will tell you that they can't care for you. They will tell you that they're cussing and manipulating and yelling. This is who they are. They'll tell you this. The problem is that you and I oftentimes don't believe it. Why? Because, we want to see the good in everybody. We want to see the good in people. Is it real? Yeah, no, it's real. They're telling you. And if he's telling you, listen, I don't see good in people. I don't see the good in the relationship. I don't see you as a person. I don't love you. I don't hate you. He's basically telling you that you're no more than a wet sandbag for him to lay next to and put his dinghy in so that he can feel some form of pleasure, physical pleasure. So that's what you've allowed yourself to be reduced to in this relationship, is a wet sandbag that he can put a dinghy in, right? Because there's no love attached to it. There's no hate attached to it. There's nothing. It's this person who is using you being the one who wrote this email, using you for some sort of just feeling in this world. Because based on your other comment, how he's threatening to take his life, he's starving to just feel something, right? Something to make the time go by, something to feel that value. So here's the thing: is don't make it your responsibility to fix this person. This person is beyond your level of expertise in trying to correct and fix and establish a good relationship with. It's not going to happen. You weren't there at the formation of these issues in life. You cannot undo these issues in life. When we talk about narcissism, bipolar personality disorder, cluster B, these different psychopathy, psychopaths, antisocial, sociopaths, you're getting into this realm of trying to play a psychologist as well as being involved intimately with them. It's not going to work. You can't do that. You can't be there to figure them out and understand their psychology while also trying to have a love relationship. And this works in families too. You can't try to be a brother or a sister while also playing a psychologist. It's not your role, right? And so this is a relationship that is going to be doomed. You're trying to understand and fix them at the same time as you want a good relationship with them. Not going to work out. Not going to work out. That question goes is to make the decision. Make your decision. A lot of times we get stuck waiting for the narcissist to make a decision, and we do. We want the narcissist to say, I don't like you anymore. I'm done with this relationship forever and to disappear. And because that would make it more real. But that's not what happens. We get stuck because the narcissist says, I hate you and blah, blah, blah 1 minute. And then the next week, they call you up acting like nothing ever happened. Everything's perfectly normal. They want to use you again. And for a long time, you can just allow them to keep doing that. So this is why the final discard has to come from you. You have to be the one to say, I'm done. I'm done with your ups and downs and your whatever you've got going on. I'm done. And you don't have to say this. You have to live this through your actions, through your life, through not answering the phone, through saying, no, you can't come over, through saying, I don't want to talk right now, I'm busy, through moving on with your own life. You show and say, I'm done with this nonsense of a relationship. This is not the relationship that I deserve. This is not something that's going to lead to marriage and to a joy-fulfilled relationship and that's what you deserve, right? If you believe you deserve that, if that's what you want, a joy-filled relationship of mutual love and affection. And all relationships are going to have their ups and downs. That's just common knowledge. But none of this I hate you now, I love you the next one. None of that stuff, right? Threatens of acts of violence towards you or towards themselves. This is nonsense. You don't need this disordered stuff in your life, right? You deserve someone at least at the same level in equality and health as you're at. Right? So you can build one another up. Thank you for that question from Slovakia. I hope that helps. The next question that we are going to get to is comes from local. This one's not from out of the nation here. Let's go to this next question. It says, hi, I'll keep this brief, probably get a lot of inquiries. Separated from an ex after divulging all dirty laundry to a narcissist who used that truth to seduce my wife and go off together. And so I take it that this is a man who's writing, whose wife has left him for what looks like a mutual friend of both him and his wife. It was some guy who was apparently some relationship guru, as we're going to find out here. I have 2 kids, 4 and 8, and although I'm happy, I'm in a happy new loving relationship. So he's also moved on. He's in a relationship, and have worked to set boundaries and minimize the contact with my narcissistic ex and her greater narcissistic boyfriend life coach. I can see the impact it has on my children, especially my eldest, who comes to me week on, week off with a disassociated personality that I have to work hard to reassociate with. Between the two of them, they order the children around like robots with no sense of self or autonomy. It pains me to see them back to her and being manipulated by her and her boyfriend, who wants nothing to do, who wants nothing but adoration for his amazing self. Okay. My question is how to support the growing children in such an environment and how to give them tools to be able to grow up with a healthy sense of self. I'd love to discuss this. So basically, and I see this all the time when it comes to co-parenting, when there's a co-parenting issue, when you're dealing with a narcissist, the issue becomes looking at the children very hypersensitive. Okay, I can tell in this email that this gentleman still has issue with the way the whole thing played out. Rightfully so. He's even moved on. He has a new relationship that he's in, yet you can hear in the tone of the email that he still has a lot of issue with the fact that his wife moved on and had a relationship with another man who he knew. He's obviously not happy about that. Makes reference to him being all he wants is adoration of his amazing self and this and that. So you could tell is just there's that vibe there. I don't like that. Okay, and so that's okay. But what this does is it sets up a automatic sensitivity so that when the children are in, he's sounds to me like he's noticing that his children are now being affected negatively by this person and his ex-wife. And that's his question is how does he raise healthy children? Well, first of all, understand that you can only do what you are allowed to do in the situation according to the law. So if law has been established that sets up a particular time for you to be with your children and for your ex-wife to be with the children, there's really nothing you could do about that. But that's not your question. The question is what do you do with your relationship with your sons to make sure that they grow up with a healthy sense of self? Well, all you can do is model that. Model for your kids what a healthy sense of self is. I can tell you right now that a healthy sense of self is not going to be bad-mouthing the ex-wife and the boyfriend. Okay, that's not a healthy sense of self. That I know it seems, because that's what narcissists do. And I know it seems like, well, that's what people follow and this, that. No. It's not. People grow tired of that. People eventually catch up with all the bad-mouthing and name-calling. They grow tired of it. And people will ultimately gravitate towards those who don't do that. So I'm going to share with you how you can do that. Become the best dad and the only dad that they need. So if they're being treated like robots with no sense of self or autonomy over there, then make sure that you treat them the opposite. Show them the opposite. Treat them not as robots, but as individuals with independence. Show them how to be men. You're the father. They need you. They don't need mom's boyfriend. They don't need that. They already, they go over there, they have that relationship because they have no choice, but they don't need him as a role model, especially if you are going to be that role model. The only time children look for a role model is if the biological father stops being that role model. So don't stop. Make the fight. Right now, you can't fight for your ex because she's already moved on and you've already moved on. You have a new woman in your life, but you can fight to make sure that you are the father of those children. You teach them and train them and guide them. Teach them how to fish. Take them out skateboarding. Take them out hiking. Show them how to camp. Show them how to be men. Show them how to work on cars. Show them how to build stuff and put stuff together, and show them how to become independent men in their own life. And that's untouchable. That's how you ensure this. That's how you ensure their livelihood growing up and becoming independent, strong men. That's it. And that's all. That's what you're called to do. That's your responsibility. Guide them, teach them, and it will never leave them. Don't worry about the mom's boyfriend unless he's doing something that puts your children in harm. in harm's way, then you can react as appropriate as a father should. Okay. But if it's just, you don't like the guy because whatever, life coach, this and that, and all he's cared about is himself, and you don't like the way he slicks his hair back and whatever, nothing you could do about that, right? And I wouldn't sit around with your sons and complain about that, because that's not guiding them and teaching them in a good way, right? So that's how I would handle that, and I hope that helps you out with that question. I'm going to go ahead and put the telephone number back on here, and in case anybody wants to call, because we do take live telephone calls. Let me go ahead and get the telephone number back up here for you all. And while I go to the next question, I'm just going through these questions, burning through them. But we have a lot of them, and so this is why I wanted to get straight to the questions with you, and not go through the so much of a lesson anymore, because I realized as I was doing that I'm not even able to get to all the questions that people have, and there's a lot of questions. There's an awful lot of questions. This question comes from Pam. Hi, how do I start the no contact rule when the narcissist is my husband, who I have kids with, after 13 years married? Right now he's asking for a divorce, and it sounds like he left. He keeps coming back in to see the kids, and her heart is broken. It looks like they've been married for so many years. He went off after a younger girl, and it broke her heart. And so at this point in time, they have two children that are still within the age where they're living at home. Her heart's broken over the fact that her husband has left and went off with another woman. However, he comes back to see the kids, and it's heartbreaking for her. And she doesn't know how to go no contact because he's coming to see the kids every day. This is a very, very brutal situation, because he comes to see the kids because the father, even though this man is having issues, and I'm not going to read the whole email because there's a lot of heartbreaking detail in this, but here's the difficult thing. This man in this relationship is being extremely selfish. He's putting his selfish needs above his own family. Okay? There comes a point in men's lives, and I understand this, you call it midlife crisis, existential crisis. There's no excuse for it whatsoever, where the man goes out and finds a young girl because the wife's sex or whatever is no longer good enough, and it leaves a tale of destruction. It spins everything out of control, and that's what's happening here. But it's apparent that this father still loves his kids. He comes over to see the kids on a daily basis. So the issue is not that he doesn't want to be in his kid's life. The issue is that he decided to put his selfish needs above his family, and by having this ongoing affair. The wife who's writing me is caught in this horrible situation where she stands back. She could do nothing to stop him from going out with this other woman. She doesn't know what to do about going no contact because he shows up to see the kids only. So it's constantly in her face, this man who is living this other life but wants to see the kids. This is very hard, and it's very heartbreaking. So what you have to understand in these situations is that, first of all, the no contact rule and boundaries apply to only you. You cannot tell the narcissist what to do and what not to do. So if the narcissist, especially if in a parenting situation, if a narcissist is the father or the mother and they want to see the kids, you can't stop them. They're going to do whatever they can do to try and see the kids. Obviously, if they're doing drugs or strung out or doing illegal activities, then you could put a protective order and protect your children. But that's not the case here. This is a situation where the guy's left and he comes back. I don't know if he brings the other woman around, because that might be an issue too. You can say you don't want that around your kids, and maybe you can work towards getting a protective order against that too. But if he's just coming by himself because he wants to see his kids, it's very difficult to say, no, you can't do that. You can't come see your kids because of your actions. It's very difficult to do that. So, and no contact is not about that anyways. It's not about saying you can't do this. You can't drive down the street. You can't do this. You can't. Okay, no contact is about you. No contact is about how you respond to the situation. No contact is about your involvement personally in the situation. And so no contact in this would be the heartbreaking, detaching mindset that you have to take of this man being anything other than, at this point, the father of those children, which means that you don't owe him anything. You don't have to. You don't owe him any conversation. You don't have to acknowledge his presence. You don't have to. You don't have to remain married. You don't have to wait for permission or wait for him to initiate a separation or even a divorce. I mean, if there is already an affair, he's off, he's living with another woman right here, this constitutes a breaking of the marriage. The wedding vows are broken. They're gone. It's destroyed, right? That marriage, the marriage bed has been destroyed. Okay. And so really this is your call. And I'm not an advocate or anything like that for these types of decisions. That this would be your personal decision, but I would say that it would do you no good and him no good to try to pretend or act or fake or try to be nice or try to perform any wifely duties or to pretend to do any wifely duties when he's already way outside of you even being his wife anymore. He's gone, right? He's out of that, and he doesn't deserve that anymore. He has no rights to you as a wife anymore. None. Zero. Zilch. All right. So does that mean he can't come see his children? No, he can still come and see his children. But does that change the way you involve yourself with him? Absolutely. And you have to take that into consideration. If it hurts you to see him, then make sure you're not in a place where you can see him, right? Again, there's a lot of variables, right? Unless you think he's going to hurt the children, then you may want to keep one eye open. But do that for the sake of your kids, not because you're interested in him and what's going on, right? It's got to be in protection of the kids. So there's a lot to navigate in this, a lot to detach yourself from. But the thing to understand is that no contact is about you. It's about how you respond, how you react. It's about staying away from the toxicity. It's about trying not to get answers that you're not going to get answers for, right? I know, in your email, you expressed that you already kind of understand what's going on. He's this age and the younger girl's this age, and you understand all these things that it seems to me have a good understanding of what's going on, but it doesn't mean you have to accept it. Doesn't mean you have to acknowledge that it's okay. It doesn't mean you have to reward it. And I've seen situations where women have, the men have gone off and relationships come back and the woman's cooking them food. Well, I got to do something. I want to show them that I can still love like Jesus loves and cook a meal. No. Why reward bad behavior? And I'm even speaking to you Christians. Jesus did not reward people's bad behavior. We've got to stop thinking that that's what we have to do as Christians. You can bless those who curse you and this and that, but not by bringing them in and doing things for them. You can bless them by saying be blessed, but not the toxicity. That wickedness is not going to be in this home. It's not going to be in my presence. It's not going to be around me, because then you become an accomplice in a way in that. So it's better to detach from that, right? Don't reward the bad behavior. Don't let people know it's okay to go out and be bad and to do whatever it is you want to do, and then use me too, because you give people an inch, they'll take a yard, right? You give that little bit, they'll continue to do it, and that will establish the relationship. You don't want that. All right. And so I hope that makes sense, and it's a very difficult one. It's a very difficult one to navigate. And my heart is broken for you in that situation. And I know that this happens more often than people even talk about. It truly does. And it's not just an issue where men run off on their wives. There's issues where wives are out having, affairs or whatever with guys. And I've heard this. I've had phone calls from men who've been left because the woman wanted to go and found somebody else. And, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. It's a very selfish thing. But again, the no contact is about you and your response to them. It's not about making sure that they can't come and see your kids, and it's not about punishing them, right? It's about you staying in a place out of toxicity. So you're not involved, so you're not battered and abused anymore by the situation. Because again, these narcissists will, if at any sign of you saying, listen, I don't like what you're doing, right? It comes across to the narcissist as an invitation to battle you and to say, well, you're the reason that I'm doing this, right? If this has been your experience with narcissists, say I. That's exactly what happens. Doesn't matter what it is. You can say, listen, I'm tired of you calling me names. Well, you think you're better than everybody. There's nothing. Listen, I didn't say anything out of hate. I said it out of love and blah, blah, blah. And I can't believe how selfish you are and on. And they will beat you down, right? Making you think that it's your fault that they call you names. Same thing with affairs. Narcissists, and it says this in this email, that this husband, this man, made it seem like it was her fault because she failed to perform her wifely duties in a manner in which he wanted. He went out and did somewhere else, right? And so anytime she brings up, listen, I don't like that you are out with this other girl and you're coming over and seeing the kids. I don't like this. It's breaking my. The narcissistic tendency is that he's going to respond by saying, well, this is your fault. It's your fault. If you were better at this, and this, then none of this would be happening, right? And it would just be even more crushing. So that's why it's important to understand that you don't approach the situation. This is why you understand that no contact is for you, to keep yourself protected from that toxicity, because that's what you want, right? And unless you're in a place where you're healed and you're able to confront that and battle it and say, no, this is not because of me. This is because of you, right? And ultimately, guys and gals, we want to be in that place where we are so confident after a time of healing, confident in understanding and knowing of who we are, to where you can confront it straightforward. No, it's not me. I'm not the reason that you're out doing that. That's you. I'm not the reason you cuss and scream and shout. That's you. I'm not the reason you call people names. It's you. I'm not the reason you're bipolar. It's you. You're the reason. You need help. Stay away from me until you figure it out. Right? When you're able to start to speak up and say these things or shut them out, either way, that's where you want to be, right? And at any rate, very difficult situation to navigate. It's very difficult when you're hurting and you don't know how to respond back when they're making it feel like it's your fault. Let's move on to the next question from South Africa. This question comes in. I've recently broken up with a narcissistic man, and I need someone to talk to because it hurts that he would still talk to other women and chat to them. Well, narcissists do that. They break up with you and then they go and chat with other people, right? This is part of their game. What hurts me is that he thinks it's okay. He's making me feel insecure because he justifies it. It's wrong if you're in your relationship and have been engaged. How could he say it's okay to talk to other women? How can he say it's okay if I don't feel remorse for lying to you even now that you caught me out? How can a person say that? Everyone knows it's wrong. Please tell me, is it because he is dumb or something? That's a good question. Yes, is the answer, the quick answer. What else? How can a person be like that and think it's okay? I really want to expose him because he's also going to my church. This is the scary part, and I understand this. He's also going to my church, and where I've been very happy, and he just doesn't leave. I have to be the one to find another church. He pretends he's such a Christian, but he isn't. I want this feeling to stop. I've started to think I'm the narc because I messaged the one woman I found out he was talking to, told her that she is talking to a man that's in a relationship. So there's all kinds of, this comes from South Africa, all kinds of issues going on here. Very, very typical classic narcissistic abuse. So first and foremost, all right, let's talk about this. Recently broke up with the narcissist. Okay, the relationship's over. You broke up with him. He's talking to another woman already. This shouldn't come as a surprise to you if you broke up. I know that what you're saying is, how can he do that? How can he move on like that fast? How can he talk to other women? It's not right. It's wrong. Doesn't he know it's wrong? Doesn't he know it's wrong? Listen, hun, welcome to the world of experiencing narcissistic abuse. This is where we're all at because all of us have had these questions. How can a family member who loves you call you names? Don't they know it's wrong? How can they cuss at you? Don't they know it's wrong? Are they dumb? So you're in the right place with this question. This is what all of us want to know. How can these people just do these selfish things nonstop and not view it as wrong? Well, because they don't. Because narcissists, that's what makes narcissists narcissistic. They're only interested in one thing, themselves. And they've learned over time to look at other people as not an equal, a human being in an equal form, but they look at other people as tools in which they can get supply. This is what narcissistic abuse is all about. So all of the telling you that he loves you and this and that was basically to be able to get you to do what he wanted, which was probably have sex, right? And yes, they will go to great lengths to make this happen, even tell you that they want to marry you, put a ring on your finger, have a life with you, this and that. They'll say everything. They'll say whatever it is as they're looking at your response, whatever it is that makes you smile, they'll say it to get what they want from you. Then when you call them out on stuff, hey, why are you flirting over here? Why are you doing that? Well, they're being them. That's the same them that you met. They just haven't stopped. They're still doing it. But now they're saying, uh-oh, I'm being found out that I don't really care about her. I just was using her. And now, okay, what's going to happen? And so you're going to do the natural thing, which is to say the relationship's over. How could you? And you're hurt. And you're right to end the relationship. Good for you. I applaud you. Break up with them. That's what you do. But now watch this. It's not enough. You're broken up and you're still stewing. How can this happen? How can he just move? And he's still talking to other girls. How can this be happening? Well, because he never really cared for you to begin with. He was using you. He was mimicking you. He was mirroring you. He was a pickup artist, because there is such a thing as pickup artists. These guys are, for the most part, a lot of them are broke, poor, but they're in these classes learning the words to say to get what they want from women, right? Pickup artists. This is what they do. And you happen to come across it because you hadn't come across it in this form, and you allowed it in. You opened up to it. Wow. Looks good. Sounds good. Ooh, promises, right? Promises, without really knowing who and what you're dealing with. Brings me to my next issue here. I don't know the extent of the relationship or how far you got in this relationship, but if it became sexual and things like that, chances are you at some point are going to have to acknowledge and understand that you had a part in that, in allowing it to happen. A lot of the anger you can feel comes from you feeling like you were suckered and you were fooled, especially if you go into a situation where you indicate that you've been going to church, right? So you go to church, and again, I don't know how deep you got into this relationship, if it became sexual and this and that, but you're not married, right? And I know in today's culture, people are like, oh, whatever, who cares? We have sex. That's what it's all about, because we're surrounded by porn and this and that, and this is what you do when you get together. You have sex. No. There's a reason why even in faith-based organizations, and they don't hit on this enough, but things like sex and these types of intimate relationships are supposed to be reserved for the unification of a man and a woman, not just casually done because of this exact thing. You do this, and then you realize that you were with a facade and a joke and a lie, and now they left, and you're broken because you gave the best that you have to give in life, which is your body and your love. You gave that, and the fact that that's all they wanted and they left now indicates to you somehow that it's not that valuable, and it's not that precious, and it's not that special, and that they can go get it somewhere else, and that is destroying. And that will eat you alive. Because if you cannot keep somebody with that special gift, then what else can you do? And this is the danger of opening yourself up, becoming sexually active without really knowing the person, without having intimacy on all levels, without having commitment, without having you run the risk of somebody hunting for the purpose of just having game. I want to experience that, not because I want to love it and take care of it. And here's the thing, it's not because you're not worth being loved and taken care of. It's because narcissists don't have the capability to, right? Pickup artists, listen, the reason pickup artists have to take classes to learn how to use words to become pickup artists is because their life is not one that would attract women by itself, right? So what is a woman interested in? What does a woman need? A hardworking man who wants to support a family and to build a life and this and that. Listen, the reason there's pickup artist classes is because it gathers all of these people who are incapable of living a life that is of what men are supposed to be, building a home, building a life, and instead says, wait, you don't have to do all that. Don't worry about being a man that takes care of a family. Don't worry about that stuff. You don't have to, because we're going to give you some simple words that you can use that's going to get you what you want without having to do all that. And it works. Case in point. And you have situations like this where these people are even infiltrating churches. And who knows? I haven't researched too much into pickup artist classes or whatever, but they probably talk about going to churches too. They probably do. Man, you want to really know how to get what you want? Go to churches. Lots of beautiful women there. Very naive. All about listening to the affirmations of how beautiful and how God thinks it's okay to, whatever. And it's heartbreaking because it's a failure of not only parenting, but it's a failure of the church. It's a failure of Christianity to protect young people, young girls, and young men. Saying, look out for this. And it's in the Bible. Look out for this. Do not let them come and say sweet nothings to you and put their claws into you and drag you off your path into this realm of darkness to have their way with you. It's not talked about. It's just not. Man, there's huge youth groups out there. I've seen it, witnessed it with my own eyes, right under the pastors of these churches' noses, right? Young adults coming together in these rooms, and it's almost like just being in a regular high school classroom where there's no more emphasis on morals and values than there is in a public school. They're teaching the same stuff, listening to the same music, having glow-in-the-dark bowling parties and camping trips and all this stuff in the facade in the name of a church, but no more different than what's going on in the world. And so and then they're wondering why. Why can this person come into my life? We can have a dating relationship, we can have sex, and then he's off with another girl, and he's also at church, and I feel like I have to find a new church now. Well, your part in it. Your part, and yes, you have a part. Yes, were you lied to? Yes, you were lied to. My heart breaks for you. Your part in it was crossing that line where maybe you weren't taught, maybe you didn't take it seriously, but when the entity and that guy comes into your life and says, it's okay. Let's have sex. Let's get intimate like that because it's okay. It's what the world does. Yeah, he's right. That is what the world does. But you are not supposed to be a part of the world. And that's what the royal we is all about. We are learning to separate ourselves from the world because the world will destroy you. The world is not inherently good. People in the world are not inherently good. The deeper you dig, the more you're going to find out people have very selfish intentions, especially in these days and in this culture that we live in. And it's going to get worse. It's not going to get any better. And churches are not going to be a safe place to be. It's not going to be a safe haven. And that's not what the Bible doesn't even say church is the safe place to be. It talks about how, don't forsake the coming together of believers. But nowhere does it say that you're going to be safe in church. Run to church. Make sure that you only hang out with the church groups and stuff like that, because nothing bad happens there. Nobody within the church group is there to have selfish intentions, right? I think you all know that that's false, right? So what does it come down to? It comes down to you. So I got to get off my high horse here, but the bottom line of this particular email is to let this person know, one, this girl who wrote from South Africa, let this dude go. He is bad news. If he's in the church, what I would do is, if you already left the church, good for you. Find another church. Do not associate with this person anymore. If he tries to weasel his way back in your life, you hold your boundaries tightly. He will throw everything at you that he possibly can. Everything from you did bad things to you did and yes. And you're going to have to come to terms with this and say, yes, I did. Yes, I did. I was wrong. I should not have done that. I should never have let you in my life. It's wicked. It's evil. It's nasty. I'm protecting myself from you, and I'm going to protect other people I know from you as well. Right? And so this is it. But don't worry about who he's talking to and looking at other girls. Don't. This is not a guy you want to mess with. This is not a guy that you want to try to pursue anymore. This is not a guy you can build a life with. This is not a guy you want to go to church with. This is not a guy you want to know. So to answer your question, how could he do this? It's what he is. It's what he does. How can the devil, do what the devil does? Because it's what the devil is, right? And I will be here for you. So thank you for sending this email, and I hope that helps you through this situation. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and get ready to sign off. No phone calls tonight. Everybody was so into the email questions, and so that's awesome. That's awesome. I hope you all are doing well tonight, and I'm going to go ahead and say hi. I don't see any questions. It looks like the moderators are tackling all of the questions here. Monique McPhee, what's going on? How are you? It looks like everybody's doing good. Right on. All right. Well, listen, thank you so much for being a part of the Royal We tonight. Okay. All right, D-Doll. Here goes some doo-doo-doots for you. Put some music on here. If it will start. Where is it? How come we're not starting? Here we go. All right. Doot 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 doot. Listen, I want to thank you all so much for watching the Royal We Live Monday nights. Every Monday night we will be here live, and join me next Monday night. Also, watch out for the organic Royal We channel. I will be putting the last and final struggle coming out of narcissistic abuse, which is Kazmak Bator, the ancient Greek word. It's the struggle with worldliness. It's a powerful one, and it's following the rebuild. It's also following which is the arche. It's also following the delegation of power over your life, which is the exousia. That's the struggle. The final struggle is the Kazmak Bator, which is the worldliness and the power. I am really looking forward to putting out there this video. Thank you so much. Be sure to like, subscribe, share this video. Follow me on Instagram if you are not yet following me on Instagram. And we'll be back next Monday night with more questions on the Royal We Live. Have a great night, everybody. spell what? Can I spell what? Spell that? T-H-A-T. Is that what you meant, Tito? Good night, everybody.